Now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jo Donlin, and I am the Director of Regulatory Outreach and Education at the Division of Professions and Occupations within DORA. And I just want to take a moment to thank you for taking a few minutes today to learn more about the Prescription Drug Monitoring Program. This is the fourth and final webinar we are hosting as part of the PDMP webinar series. And today my colleague Justin Whiff will address the topic of bulk patient searches. And a bulk patient search can be an important tool as you all try to streamline your processes and save time whenever and wherever you can. Before we get started, I just want to thank our sister agency, the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. This event is a joint effort between the two agencies, and we always appreciate their support and collaboration on this initiative and the important issues. So with that, I will turn it over to Justin.
Thank you, Jo. So today we will be discussing bulk patient searches within the Colorado PDMP, or the PDMP Aware user portal. We have previously held webinars, which are currently available at dpo.colorado.gov/PDMP/training. We previously held webinars on creating a PDMP Aware account for prescribers and how prescribers can use the PDMP Aware web portal. We've also done a webinar on how to create a delegate account and how delegates can use the PDMP Aware web portal. And we held a webinar on patient alerts and prescriber reports, which are two unsolicited reports generated by the Colorado PDMP. The recordings of these webinars are available here, and we also have tutorial documents for your reference on this page covering all of these topics. We also have user guides that cover additional topics, and we're always here for assistance if you ever have questions. So to get started with the PDMP Aware bulk patient searches, you will log into your PDMP Aware account, and from the menu link under RX Search, you can find the bulk patient search menu. Now there are two ways you can perform a bulk patient search. The first way is to just enter a list of patient names and dates of birth. You'll see by the red asterisk here that only first name, last name, and date of birth are required. If you are entering them manually, you'll just put them in one at a time and hit add. And we only have a few test patients in here, so we'll be using the same patients for these searches. You do have to put 01 if you're putting in a one-digit month. So when you add your patients, you will also need to name the group. And you have the ability to make changes to the default setting of the previous 1 year prescription history. You do have up to 7 years of history available. And you can also select among our states in which we have a data sharing agreement with if you want to perform a multi-state search. When you press the search button, the searches will generate a report and you will see this success notification. You'll then go to the bulk patient history and you'll find the list here with the name that you created when you ran that report. You will see a summary of results for each patient, and if you click on this link here, you'll see your search details, and then hitting view will bring up that patient's report. This will give you summary information, the detailed prescription history, and a list of prescribers and pharmacies on that patient's record. You can also download this as a PDF or as a CSV file for Excel. The PDF will look essentially like what you're seeing on the screen previously, with a list of prescriptions, summary information. The CSV file will display that data in spreadsheet format. Any fields that have hash marks in there, you can expand those columns to find the details. And here's where you can see additional information for the prescriptions that aren't sometimes on the PDF version. So again, when you get these results, you can select each patient's report and then view to get the patient report. If there is no history, you will see a message saying that it is incomplete, and that will tell you that there's no prescription history for the name, date of birth, and time range that you've selected. Now, alternatively, this may be more useful if you have a roster of patients that you maintain or would like to create a roster for easy bulk patient searching. If you select File Upload, you will be able to upload a CSV file with patients' first names, last names, and dates of birth. What I would recommend is downloading the sample file. And when you open the sample file, it will be in the format that you need, and you just need to list patients' first names, last names, and dates of birth. Again, the postal code is in there, but that is an optional field. Now, I already have a file saved, so I can select to upload an existing file. And when I upload that, I do have the option to validate that my format is correct. You'll see that the correct format for the name and date of birth is going to look just like this. This will be the format that you want to use for the date of birth. And if there are any errors in the format or the way that you've entered the information, it would display in this column here under errors. Now, since I do not have any errors, I can just name this group. I can make changes again to the prescription history date range, and again can select multiple states if I'd like. When hitting the search button, you will get a message if the search was run successfully, and then you can go to the bulk patient history tab to get the details of your patient search. Again, it will display just like it did in the other version with a link here to view the patient report. And again, you'll see the summary information here. You can also expand this very top list. If you're not sure what records are included, you'll see in the linked records section the name, date of birth, gender, and address as reported by the pharmacy to the PDMP. And again, you can download a PDF or CSV version of that report. Another thing with regard to bulk patient searches is the fact that you can go into your request history under RX Search and find a list of all the searches that you've performed previously. Now, this list here can be clicked on, and you can view very quickly the patient report that was generated with that previous search. It should be noted that when you perform a review of the previous searches, it will be for the previous dates. So if you need to perform an updated search, you'll want to do that by making a new request through the bulk patient search, or if you're doing a single patient search, you can do so in the normal patient request menu. So that really outlines the features of the bulk patient search. This is hopefully an option that a prescriber or one of their delegates can perform to efficiently process a full day or a full week's worth of patients which may need to be searched. It should be noted that a prescriber or their delegate can search the PDMP for any current patient. So that concludes the instruction portion of this webinar, and we can take questions now if anyone has any.
Okay, thanks, Justin. And if you have a question, please just type it in the question box, and then I will be able to read those for Justin. But I did want to clarify, Justin, can you clarify one thing? In your demonstration, you showed that you could go see your search history. I just wanted to clarify, when you look at that, a bulk search, the individuals come in. It doesn't come in as a bulk search. Is that correct?
Right, it lists each individual patient that was searched. So you'll see here that these 4 searches were done the same time stamp. And then the ones that I had done the first go round are also separately time stamped here.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was clear to folks that you won't see something in that list that is under the name of whatever you called your bulk search.
That's correct. Now the bulk patient search section does have a bulk patient history. And here is where you can find the record of those bulk searches that were performed. And again, when you pull that up, selecting one of the patients will get you a link to view that actual prescription history.
So just as an example, somebody could do their bulk search and title it for a particular day, and then go in and pull that up and have all the patients right there for that day's appointments for the provider.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, a delegate can perform these searches, and when a delegate's performing the searches on behalf of a supervising prescriber, the search history is generated and added to the prescriber's PDMP account. So a supervising prescriber can go into their own account and see what individual searches or bulk searches were performed by their delegates, and will be able to get directly to those reports through their own account.
Okay.
And again, the reports can be downloaded in a PDF format and printed out for a user-friendly report that could be inserted into a patient's file.
Okay. We have a question about the data you have to put into the search. Is an exact birth date required to do a search, an individual search, or a bulk search for that matter?
With the bulk patient searches, you do need to put in the patient's first name, last name, and date of birth. Now, the system is pretty good at identifying near matches for patients who may have a hyphenated last name, may have slight variations in how their name may have been spelled by various pharmacies. Generally speaking, the patient matching algorithm within the system is quite good at catching that. Now, occasionally when running a patient search, you may get multiple separate profiles for the same person. That'll happen less than 1% of the time. If you do come across a patient that has multiple separate profiles in the system and you can verify that they are the same patient, you can contact the state administrator and we can manually consolidate those records. If you do ever have trouble finding a patient and you suspect it may be an issue of the spelling of their name, you can go into the patient request menu and you can select the partial spelling for either the first or the last name or both. And when entering a partial name, you actually can get around the date of birth requirement and find the multiple profiles there for that spelling match. You may get multiple patients that are not one of your patients, but you can further select the appropriate patient and view that patient's report.
Okay. We have one request. Can you just go back to the beginning and show how you find the bulk patient request?
Sure. So let me log out. Here's the landing page, your dashboard. And really from any point within the PDMP Aware web portal, you'll just select the menu link at the top left. And then it's under this RX search section. Just about everything you're going to need with regard to performing patient searches, seeing your own prescription history, or any potential patient alerts are all under this RX search menu. The first option, patient request, is for that one at a time single patient being searched. And then the second option there is the bulk patient search.
Okay. And we have a question. You may have mentioned this, but is there a limit to the number of patients you can search at one time?
I have never encountered a limit. I don't believe there is. You should be able to upload a rather large list. It should just be noted that you can search for current patients, and it may be easy if someone on your staff can maintain a spreadsheet that's got the patient's first and last names and dates of birth in there for convenient upload for this process. Just should be noted that when you perform this search, it's going to give you the results for whatever date range you select. So if you are looking to perform searches on some type of schedule, monthly or yearly or something like that, you will want to perform a new patient search. The search history available within the bulk patient history will not be updated every time you view that history. It will just be a record of what was previously searched.
Okay. We don't have any other questions in the queue, so I'm just going to wait about 15 seconds. If any of the attendees has a question, please put it in the question box and I will read it to Justin. I'll just give you a few seconds here.
And just one final note, I'll remind everyone that on our PDMP training webpage, which is available here at dpo.colorado.gov/PDMP/training, you can find PDF documents, including a tutorial document we put together on bulk patient searches. And this document outlines everything that we talked about today. So I hope that is helpful. And the main PDMP page has a link to that tutorial information right here. And that's from the main dpo.colorado.gov/PDMP page. And this webinar will be recorded and loaded to this webpage here by Monday at the latest.
So that concludes the webinar for today. Again, I appreciate everyone taking time to learn a little bit more about this important tool that can really inform your prescribing. So with that, I wish everybody a good weekend, and please do use these resources frequently. And if there's anything we can do for you at DORA, please let us know. Thank you.